My name's Diane Gurman. I'm 33 years old and I work doing online marketing. I've worked in Berlin for about 8 years. But I've lived in Germany, I don't know, maybe 9 years, and also, worked abroad in Australia and other
Okay,
places.
let's start with that, with your experiences abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So, your first experience abroad was when and where?
My first experience abroad ever?
Yeah.
Like just traveling?
Living somewhere else.
Okay. My first experience living someplace else was in Austria. I did studying abroad in Austria, and I was there in 2011, and I was there for 7 months. After that, I did an internship in Germany for 3 months.
Straight.
I might have overstayed my visa.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I didn't, because it was 3 months, I didn't need a visa technically, but because I was just already there for 7 months, I did need a visa technically. So my school didn't know, and it worked out okay.
I see. Yeah,
But yeah.
interesting. I mean, I met Diane, I think in 2012 or 13?
Mm-hmm.
12, I guess. When did you
2000, I want to say 2000, yeah, maybe 2012
I think we met in 2012, and I don't remember
or 13.
that part of her story. She overstaying her visa. That's new information.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was fine.
Okay, Diane, so we know you're from the US, but could you tell us a little bit more about the situation, the constellation, in which kind of neighborhood, family you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in West St. Paul, Minnesota, which is funny, it's just south of St. Paul, because it's west of the Mississippi, so it's yeah. And what do you mean? What constellation?
Oh yeah, like do you have siblings? Do you
Yeah.
grow up with your parents?
Mhm. I grew up with 7 older siblings, so I'm the 8th child in my family, same parents, and my parents stayed together the whole time.
And you're 4 girls, 4 guys, right?
4 girls, 4 boys, so yeah, and we're all about 2 years apart, and 4 brown eyes, 4 blue eyes.
Okay, yeah,
And all different birth months.
that's good. And how many of them are living abroad?
None.
None of them. You are the
None.
only one.
Just me, yeah, the last one.
So it's kind of like a special thing.
I mean, my one brother lives in Seattle and he lived in California, but yeah, living not in the United States, yeah, then it's a special thing.
And how come did you decide to move abroad? I mean, you told us you wanted to, like, you came here for an exchange, and then you also did an internship here, but you could just like have gone back to the US and have your life there.
I really enjoyed my studying abroad in Austria, so I just wanted to do more of that. I don't think I ever really made at one point a conscious decision that I want to be away, and I don't even know if I've made that decision yet.
Ah, okay.
I mean,
it has been for 11 years just improvising living abroad.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't imagine it going back now, but I think it was always I want to do more, I want to improve my German, and so I'm just going to look and I'll work a bit there and let's see how I feel about it. So I think it's just been progressive.
I see. And but you've been here for about 8 to 9 years
In Berlin?
in Berlin.
Yes.
And okay, first let's I want to ask you, what's the best, or how is to live in Minnesota or in West St. Paul? What's the best and the worst for you?
Yeah.
The main difference to living in Berlin?
Okay. I would say the best and the worst thing about living in Minnesota or anywhere around it is the snow. I mean, I love snow and I miss it so much when I'm in Berlin. I think Berlin winters are so cold and dark because it feels more cold because the sun brightens it up. I mean, the snow. But it's also the worst part because we get so much snow. You could have like, a couple feet or meters, and it's a lot of effort to shovel snow, and it's just terrible. You get minus 40 degrees Celsius in Berlin or in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, that's extremely cold. I mean, for me, it's like I remember one winter here in Berlin was like almost minus 20, and it was terrible. So I can't imagine minus 40. Yeah. And what would you say are the main differences to life here in Berlin?
I mean, I think the main differences are what you imagine. Like, the U.S. is based around a car, and I don't really miss living around a car. I like that I can bike most places or take public transport. Obviously, working here, I get a lot more vacation days, which I really like. And
How many vacation days is normal in the U.S. or
in the
your
U.S.,
state?
I would say you can get 2 weeks, and you should not take them all at once. You should separate them.
And here?
Here, I mean, normal I think is around 26. I get 30, and
not counting the weekends, right? It's
yeah,
like
30
working
days,
day holiday.
Yeah, and in the U.S. it can be 2
So
weeks with the weekend. I don't know.
If you take 2 weeks holiday here, it means you only need 10 days from your holiday.
Yeah,
Because
exactly,
of the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great actually here. That in Germany you have so much holiday,
Yeah.
and in comparison to also my country, normal is 2 weeks.
Wow.
After many years working the company, maybe it's 3 weeks, but that's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, those would be the main things. I'd say work and time around.
And what about your siblings and your mother's reaction when you came here to stay for such a long time? What did they say?
I mean, I think half the time when I have a call with my mom, she still asks me when I'm gonna come back. So, like I said, I didn't make a decision properly, so it's constantly pending.
Okay, I see. But she hasn't figured out that after so many years, it seems that you're having your own life here.
No, I think she's figured it out, and I think I have too, but I don't know. I don't ever felt the commitment to anything. I'm pretty happy here, and I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. But I don't think I ever made that conscious decision. I never told them my conscious decision.
I see. Okay, if you're very happy here, it means you like it here.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite things of Berlin?
I think I really like Berlin because I like the Berlin summer. I mean, I like that Berlin is it's relatively cheap to live here in comparison to other places. And I like that I can easily travel to a lot of other countries that are so close. That's not the case in the U.S. I mean, you can see a lot of the U.S., but it's like not totally different cultures to be able to see. And I like that.
I love that from Europe. There are so many countries in such a kind of a small piece of land in comparison to countries in North and South America.
Yeah.
Diane, could you tell us what were your expectations before moving for good or till now to Berlin?
I mean, the first place I ever traveled to, just visited, was Berlin. So I was here just a few days. And then I mentioned I was in Austria and I did an internship. And the internship I did was actually just south of Berlin. So it was in Saxony, in Baden-Württemberg. Oh, sorry, in Saxony, in Bad Elster.
Ah,
where
yeah,
it was.
I see, yeah.
And so when I was there, I came to Berlin quite a few times. So I already knew I kind of liked Berlin.
How old were you then?
It was 2011, I guess. So I would have been like, I don't know,
23?
23? Yeah, could be. Yeah, true. Yeah. So around 23 years old. So I came here on a few weekends. I remember my internship, my boss told me, there's so many other places you can visit than just Berlin. Yeah. But I came because I knew a girl who lived here.
Okay, so you
and
were
she
visiting.
was doing an internship here.
I see.
Yeah.
And what were your first impressions? Could you remember your first impression
Yes.
from back then?
I do. When I first came, I spoke with that girl, and she was living here with her boyfriend. and we agreed we'd live together in a shared apartment, and we would look for a shared apartment. And I think I came in April to start working, and my job was still pending on the visa, so I had a lot of time, and it was really cold and wet in Berlin and rainy, and it wasn't good. Like I definitely had feelings of like, why did I do this? What am I doing here?
Mainly because of the weather.
As the weather, and also because she was my friend and I got along with her, but I didn't get along with the both of them as much as I thought I would. So it was the living situation that I thought was going to be what it wasn't, and the weather was really bad, and I didn't know anyone but them. So just the general environment wasn't so great, but soon, within 2 weeks, I met people through couch surfing, how I met Emmanuel.
Yeah.
And so as I started to meet those people, and you know, it was April, so it turned to spring quite quickly. Then within a month, I say the first 2 weeks were really bad. And then within like a month to a month and a half, it was like complete turnaround.
Yeah, I think weather and knowing people is a very important factor of living abroad. Because if you're in a new place and you have nobody, then of course you feel a little bit not that good. And if the weather is terrible, then it's kind of depressing as well.
And you'd think April was going to be nice, but it wasn't yet.
And actually, we met in couchsurfing. I think I remember we met at Prata, which is a beer garden. That's the first time we saw each other and we talked a little bit, like only a little bit. But actually, we met here in this park.
Yeah.
Because we got to talk and really become friends here in this park, playing frisbee.
Probably right around here.
Yeah, probably around where we're walking right now. Okay, let's continue before we don't have any more light, because it's already like 8:30 or something like this. So I want to ask you about, in general, the best and the worst of Berlin as a city and its society.
Yeah, I would say the best of Berlin, in my opinion, is the public transportation. It's so easy to get around.
I love that too.
Yeah, I mean, and like everywhere I go, I can either bike or I can take a train, and it'll be really quick and really common, and I love that.
Like within the city, we have like 20 lines of train and metro.
I think it's one of the best in Europe. Like, I think I've heard that.
Okay, yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things, really. If I have to do my top 3, I think it's one of them.
Yeah. And then the least?
Yeah, the worst.
The worst thing in Berlin, I really like Berlin, and I think it has a great history, like recent history, but it's very dirty. Like, there's a lot of places you go and you're just like, wow, this is just, there's certain parts that can be quite dirty, and I think, I can get a bad rap for that, but
I agree with that. I think if you go to west neighborhoods like Charlottenburg, it's more fancy, and then
yeah, but I don't like the fancy parts either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think you get used to the graffiti and everything, so you're like, you get used to it. But I think I only notice it when people come visit, and I'm like, I see here it's dirty.
Yeah, I know.
But it's charming, and that's the Berliner charm, right?
Maybe I remember something I saw on your Instagram. You were in Luxembourg recently.
Oh, yeah.
And you posted something. Could you share that story?
I was literally walking from the main train station to my Airbnb. It was a 10-minute walk. And on the ground in Luxembourg City, I found 255 euros on the ground. Somebody lost it. I did pick it up and look around and waited. I mean, and what I wrote in my thing was that the best thing I've ever found in Berlin is dog shit on my shoe.
Yeah.
Like, I find money here.
You have to be careful. Like, really, it's not like everywhere, but you can find a lot of dog shit on the floor on the streets here.
You're not a Berliner unless you've definitely stepped in dog shit. It's happened when I was with you before too.
So that's the difference between being in Luxembourg and being in Berlin. What about the difference, like personality-wise, of people from, not originally from, but the people who live in Berlin and the people who live in Minnesota? How could you describe that?
Ooh. I mean, Minnesota is often known for Minnesota nice. Yeah, where people are overly nice to you, and that doesn't actually mean they are nice. They just kind of like hide it in a smile, and they would never tell you. Berliners don't do that ever. They will tell you like, hey, you're doing this wrong. Don't do that anymore.
They're
Walk
very
away.
straightforward. Yeah, no filter.
No filter.
Sometimes I like the no filter, but yeah, I sometimes a bit
Some
rough.
days
Yeah.
when you're not having a good day, you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, but it's also like I guess it's much more international also living here, and you don't
Yeah.
only have Berliners, you have like you, me from different countries, and thousands of other people from other countries.
yeah, that probably would have been the other thing I would have picked, because if I went home, I would just be around a lot of people from Minnesota, or at very least the U.S. Here, I have so many friends from everywhere. That I really love too. I feel like I have a better, decent understanding of the world culture just from living here, which is interesting. Maybe it's skewed still in some way, but much less skewed than living in Minnesota.
Where are your friends from?
Oof. My closest ones?
Yeah.
From Armenia, from France, from Bosnia, from Argentina, from Italy. Yeah, I guess from places all over.
No Germans?
Oh, I have one German friend. I have one token German friend. I have to keep him.
Julian, don't take it personal. She forgot about that because you're less exotic.
One British.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, could you suggest like 3 activities or 3 places that people should visit, or your favorite ones here in Berlin?
I mean, for me, after you've done the tourist sites when you first came, I would say, some of my favorite places to go, like if you live here, going to a Freiluftkino or open air cinema is great. Like I don't know that at home if it exists. Well, we have drive-in movie theaters, but just walk up in a park and see a theater movie, great. That's a really unique experience to me, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
1, 2. I mean, I like this park. There are a lot of really close, nice parks. One of my favorite, I think, is Kona Park.
Yeah, I know that one. So smaller one.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I mean, especially like I said before, there's like really grungy parts of Berlin, and Kona Park is like this diamond in the rough, how I would describe it.
Yeah.
You're all of a sudden in the middle of like this beautiful garden, sunken garden with a waterfall and
with nice stairs.
With beautiful stairs and like statues of little angel babies. It's beautiful to see, and I think it's just so out of the norm where you are.
Yeah, it's a contrast.
The contrast I really like.
We both used to live near that area before.
Yeah. Used to, yeah. Not anymore, but that's maybe why half my ideas are in Neukölln. I really like Neukölln, the whole area. So I also think a unique thing to see, in my opinion, is like also Schwimmbads, like indoor swimming pools, like the one in Neukölln, Schwimmbad Neukölln. I think it's just so beautiful. Again, like I think one of the things I like about Europe is the beautiful history and beautiful facades and things. And so I think it's a unique experience for me to see those.
Diane, what do you think have been your biggest achievements so far in Berlin?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind for me is I've gone quite a bit further than with the language than I always wanted to learn German really well.
Yeah.
And I think for an English speaker, it's really hard because everybody always, especially in Berlin, gives you a fallback to speak in English.
Yeah, I mean, we're having this interview in your mother tongue.
Yeah, I mean, right now it doesn't show anything, does it? But
No, but I mean, like, you meant like for an English speaker, you don't need any other language because in an international environment, everyone could just speak English to you.
Yeah, and I think so for my opinion, a lot of people move abroad and they get better at English anywhere they go.
Yeah.
Like I have so many friends that tell me they're Italian, they've moved to Berlin, their English got better.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So
for me, everybody speaks English. I made so many friends. I think most of my closest friends don't speak German, not all of them.
But some.
So I'm mostly speaking English here.
Yeah, and although you mostly speak English here, you improve your German a lot, and you have like a very advanced level of German.
Yeah, I mean, I had a relationship in German, which for me was a huge accomplishment. I like that I can maintain that kind of thing with somebody close, and close friends that I speak a lot of German, or mainly German with. So to me, that felt like an accomplishment.
I can relate to that. When you get to the point that you can argue in German with your partner,
Yeah.
then you realize, oh, my German is
That's
it's
the only
great.
good thing that came out of the argument.
Yeah. Okay. We said achievements, and we wanted to share something else. Do you remember, or should I check on
My learnings about
Oh
Berlin.
yeah.
About from Berlin, I guess.
Or from the experience of living abroad,
Yeah.
Berlin, or yeah.
Yeah, I think the experience of living abroad is, yeah, it's hard to say. It is quite general. Like things, yeah. I think you learn when you're abroad. You learn more about the things in your home country that you think are norms,
Yeah.
but you realize aren't norms. So like everywhere you go in the U.S., you need a car and things like that. Like or how people deal with things, or even bureaucracy. Like just I think that living abroad, you learn more which things are normal
Okay.
and which are not.
And what did you learn that is not as normal as you thought? Okay, the car, having a car, you thought everyone needs a car to get around,
Yeah.
and then you discovered the metro system here.
Yeah, exactly. And like how different cultures can be of like, yeah, even like we said before, like politeness and on top of that, I think I've learned, you know me, I speak very fast. But I think I do a better job now of slowing my speech down when I know I need to for somebody that needs help. Or to like, I'm in a situation where somebody doesn't speak English amazingly. And I even get frustrated when I'm watching another English speaker who just keeps going, and doesn't take a breath. And it's difficult for me because I speak so fast. But
And did you learn that from other people trying to understand English, or also because of you were in their situation trying to understand German?
I think both. I think it's feeling the frustration and wishing they would slow down, and also witnessing it when I see a conversation happening and I'm like, oh, just use a different word, don't speak louder. It's obviously basic stuff and everybody would know, but yeah, seeing it and feeling it, I think makes you understand it more.
I say.
And if you never learn another language, you never feel it.
Yeah, actually, I'm the same. I'm always I'm listening to others' conversations, and I think I don't think he's gonna understand that
No.
that word. I think you should explain in a different way. And sometimes if I know them, I say like, sorry, I think he tried to say something, and try to explain.
And
Yeah.
I think I hear it from coworkers speaking to other English speakers a lot. They're like, okay, let's see if I understand you.
Yeah. You were 24 when you arrived, right? So almost 9 years have passed.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, how do you think this experience living abroad have changed you?
I mean,